Hi, I'm Melody.
And I'm Candi.
And you're listening to
Quirks, Bumps,
and Bruises. Well, we're glad you're with us on this episode of Quirks, Bumps, and Bruises. And we have a guest in here today. Her name is Wendy. Wendy is on staff here at Joy FM. She's our listener engagement director. And she's really shy.
Oh, yeah. She don't like to talk to anybody.
No, not.
Hashtag not true. But she come up with an idea to Candi and I. And she said, you guys are always interviewing other people. I think you should be interviewed yourself. And so you have brought in, Wendy, some interview type questions for Candi and I.
I'm nervous.
I know.
You should be.
And we have no clue what these are.
Be nice,
no clue.
Wendy.
They have no clue. They don't even know a single question.
Right. How many questions are there?
We have 10 total.
Well, we could be here a while.
They're going to have to think about this, so we might be here a little bit longer than a while.
Yeah, y'all better pack a lunch. All right. So, Wendy, I'm going to let you take it away and just do your thing, honey, because you're on the hot seat now.
I know. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited.
No, actually, you and I are on the hot seat, Candi.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've never been interviewed before.
Seriously?
No.
You've never been interviewed?
Yeah,
No.
we like doing the interviewee.
Yeah.
I feel honored to be the first ones to interview you guys. I'm really super excited about this.
She's got on her glasses. She's like looking so like professional.
I know. She keeps hiding the paper of questions.
I do. I keep holding them away from Candi.
You don't want us to know ahead of time. You want a true instinctual reaction to your questions.
Exactly. I mean, that's what makes it all more fun is the spontaneity of it. I mean, you know.
Well, who has the first one?
Well, okay. So I based all these questions on both of you answering these questions.
I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Next question, you go first.
Okay, we'll take turns.
I don't know if I can keep track of all that. So I promise you the first question is easy.
Okay.
Okay. The first question is, was your first job?
Oh, I worked retail in our mall. It was a place called Northern Reflections. They sold like clothes like Melody would wear. More
What
like
does that mean?
like, just little cutesy matching
That ain't what you
things.
mean.
Okay. Extra question for you.
Yeah.
Shopping diva. Uh-huh. Did you even bring home a paycheck?
Oh, yeah. They were not my favorite style of clothes, but yeah, so I kept a lot of that money. It was cute. I mean, they were really cute clothes, like little matching shirts with the, the pants.
I don't wear that.
Melody, I think you just got insulted.
Yeah, well, what's new on the Joyride?
Did they have jobs back when you were... What'd you do? What was your first job?
I churned butter, Candi.
Did you?
Are you going to ask me that so we can get out of this?
Yes. What is your first job, Melody?
I taught daycare.
Oh, okay.
I worked with 2-year-olds in a church daycare situation.
How old were you?
I was 18.
You can do that at 18?
Well, I did.
That's scary.
Candy's first job was at 33.
Hey!
Does that answer that question?
That does answer that question. Now, see, y'all can relax now. These are easy.
Yeah.
These are easy.
I have a feeling that was just buttering
Ain't
us
that
up.
the truth?
So, can I explain one thing real quickly, though? Mm-hmm. So, I listened to you guys on air for years, and I've always been kind of curious of who you are. Okay. And then when I got to working here, I was like, wow, I was taken aback. I'm like, they really are.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure
One,
that's a good
they really
thing.
are who they say they are on air, even off air. They're hilarious. I love them, and
that's sweet,
they're awesome.
Sweet.
And so
She's
these,
setting us up for something.
I
baby.
know.
I know,
She
right?
is.
I so am. But behind, in my mind, I'm like, I still don't know who you are. So this is why I thought of this idea, because you know what? Some listeners out there may not really know who you are.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I had come up with these questions. The next question, Melody,
You have to go
is how did you get into radio?
Oh, in a quick nutshell, because I could take longer, I was a worship leader at my church, and at the time we had someone that joined our church that worked for another radio station at one time in our area, but he had moved from that station to Joy FM. And so he said, I like the way your voice sounds in a microphone. Would you come in and just do some calendar event updates that they used to do at that time? Okay. I said, yeah, I'll come and do that. And so I did that for like a year, and you would hear me say, "Here's another Joy FM events calendar update."
Do you remember that?
You hear? Yes,
That was
And
years ago.
then you would say different things that were going on in the community. And then from there, it went to a Saturday afternoon show from 2 to 5, I think it was. I had no clue what I was doing, absolutely none. And then from there, got a call from Brian Sanders, who had come new to the building, and Daniel Britt had just come in as our operations manager and on the morning show. And Candi's got part of this story too that she can tell her in, and then it'll all connect. But he said, how do you feel about doing a morning show? And my first question was, what time I got to get up? Because at the time, that was 17 years ago, I had kids. I had a 9th grader and a 12th grader.
Wow.
And so I just knew that was going to be a lot, just trying to make it all work. And I didn't. He said, I need an answer, in a couple of weeks. Well, that couple of weeks came and went, and I still really had no answer. I had prayed about it, thought about it. I actually didn't talk to anybody about it but my husband. Finally, he said, you got to give me an answer because we got to move forward. If you're not going to do it, we got to move forward. Mm-hmm. And a lady came up to me. I had to let him know on a Monday. A lady at my church came up to me on a Sunday before that Monday and said to me, I don't know what you're praying about right now. Now, she had no idea what I had going on, but whatever it is, you need to do it.
Wow.
So Monday I called and said yes, and here we are 17 years later.
That's awesome.
Wow, I need somebody in my life to come up and tell me that so I can know how to make
Wouldn't that be nice if that's how you knew you should or should not do anything?
Exactly.
But Candi is involved in that story too.
Okay, so I listened to Joy FM before I started working here. I was a waitress at a barbecue restaurant, and I'd always wanted to be involved in ministry somehow. So I volunteered here at one of our fundraisers, like you, Wendy. Mm-hmm. So I volunteered here and loved the team, whatever. That was it. So one day, my mom called. She was on her way to work, and she was listening to Joy FM, and they came across and said that their secretary was leaving and that they were going to need, a new person to fill in for her and take her position. So my mom called and she's like, something tells me that you need to call that radio station and that you need to see. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I could barely turn a computer on. I mean, no way. So anyway, she would not let it up. And so I actually called Joy FM and I said, hey, are you guys hiring? Because we heard that spot. And she said, the lady on the phone said, oh, the position's already been narrowed down. And I was like, okay, well, see, Mom, I told you. So she said, you know what? You need to go email the manager, which at the time I had met before and he knew me from volunteering. So I emailed him and said, hey, I just wanted to, just to see if that position, I know you guys may have already filled it or getting ready to fill it, but I would love to be considered for that. So he writes me back and says, oh my goodness, come here. I want you to sit down with everybody. I already know you and I would love for you to come in and just sit down with the team and talk to him. I was like, okay, that's super cool. I was so nervous because Wanda Taylor, all these that I had listened to for so long, right. I'm like, I'm going to be so scared. So I got there. I remember they were in the middle of a staff meeting. I knocked on the door. I sat down with them, just chit-chatted with them, got along great with them. And I was shy at this point. I mean, I know you can't see that now.
I find that hard to believe.
But I was very shy. So loved the team. And I remember the manager had to get up and go to take a call somewhere. And the rest of the team was just there in the conference room. And the phone rung. And he said, can you grab that? So here I am on an interview getting the phone. And so it was just so funny how it worked. There is so much more to that, but I'll just quickly say God worked it out. I was able to take this position that was 17 some years ago, and I started part-time as a secretary, loved doing anything related to just loving on people, talking to people, and then I got moved to doing music here, which I was so excited about. I knew nothing about, but I was super excited. So I've been the music director for like 16 and a half years. It's been a very long time. Wow. And then fast forward to when Melody came in. I was very content, didn't want to do anything on the radio. Every time I would even get in the room, my hands would sweat. I was sick. I couldn't, I didn't want to be on the air. So Brian Sanders, who talked Melody into doing this as well, said to me, you know what? I'm thinking about putting you on the radio.
And this is before
as a morning
me.
show. This is before Melody was here.
Okay.
And Daniel was here. He said, I'm thinking about putting you and Daniel on the air together. How do you feel about that? No. Absolutely not. No, I'm not entertaining that. He said, well, here's the deal. I want you to go home. I want you to pray about it. I just have a feeling. Well, I went home. I did not pray about it.
Well, at least she's honest.
I did not pray about it. I come back a few days later. He said, well, what's the answer? I said, God don't want me to do it. He said, really? I said, yeah, God does not want me to do it. And he said, well, did you pray about it? No, but I know that God doesn't want me to do it. So anyway, he said, well, you know what? You're going to do it. Ooh. I'm going to make you do it. And he said, you give me 90 days. And he said, if you don't like it, if you don't enjoy it, no strings attached, you just come right off and you can do your other stuff. I said, deal. I'm going to hate this. I'm going to do horrible. And I'm still going to have a job. So then he comes into me a few weeks later and says, guess what? I said, what? He said, that Melody girl that's been doing that event calendar, he said, I think she could really be good on the radio. And I've asked her if she wouldn't mind coming in and, talking. And I said, that's brilliant. Her and Daniel would be so good together. You should definitely. He said, oh, no. You're not getting out of it. He said, I want the three of you to do it together. Oh, my word. So I remember September 7th, it was Labor Day, our very first show together, Monday. We didn't realize everybody's out of work on Labor Day. So here's our brand new show. We're getting ready to be on the radio and nobody's listening. So,
typical us.
I know.
Typical way for the Joyride to start.
And you were nervous for nothing.
But
that is how the Joyride
scared.
Started.
Yeah.
The Morning JoyRide with Daniel, Candi, and Melody.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like two questions in one. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I
We
just like
loved
to
it.
say I told my part a lot quicker than you did.
I know. There's so much time.
I just want to put that out there.
Still to this day, I mean, the way that God, this has been one of the things in my life that I know without a shadow of a doubt God worked out, because I didn't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and me either.
No.
Like, who would have
We're
ever
not in radio.
thought? No.
Daniel grew up wanting to be in radio.
I mean, he was
cleaned a
2
radio
and asked for a
station when he
tape
was young.
recorder.
Really?
Wow.
That was his life. But for Candi and I,
And the three of us sat down together, I remember, and it just worked.
It clicked.
And I loved, I mean, they're second family to me. So, yeah. God works if you'll, even though when you don't pray about it, sometimes he works it out.
That's because God knows what's best, and that's what makes you two such a great team. And with Daniel, and then with Gabe, and just everybody, it's awesome.
Old Faithful over there, she's been part of it from day one.
Yeah, it's been a revolving door between Gabe and Daniel and Candi.
Yeah,
but
there she sits.
There I sit. I don't think I can get out of the chair. That's why I'm still here.
We won't let her.
No, we'll lock the doors. You're not allowed to leave.
Oh goodness.
Well, that's kind of cool. I really enjoy that. That's really cool. And I really have to say one thing. I just can't see you as a secretary, but okay. The one phone call.
It didn't work out long.
That phone call was special for you. That one call that they heard you answer.
I know, right? I was like, Joy FM, this is Candi. Oh, my word. I was so excited.
Okay. So on to the next one. And keep on, we are on number 4. So we might have to break this up into 2 or 3 segments. On to number 3. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is quick and easy. You guys get up so early. Okay. And I just am curious if when do you grab that first cup of coffee? Is it at home, on your way to work, or at work?
All of the above. Yeah.
We have IVs placed in our arms when we come in.
I'm going to tell this. This is probably horrible on me, but true story. I don't brush my teeth when I get up in the morning because I'm the only person in the house, the only person I ever see, because I drink coffee on the way to work. And then I like to brush my teeth when I get here. So side note, if you ever notice, I don't talk to you first thing in the morning because I have to go brush my teeth. But yeah, so I drink coffee on the way to work, while I'm here, all day long. Yes.
It's the first thing, after I get up and go to the restroom, and I do brush my teeth. I go get the coffee. That's the next thing. Huh. Yeah, very quickly.
Very quickly.
Within 5 minutes
you
after getting up.
You have to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
I would think so. Just to even drive to work that early in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I didn't drink coffee before I started doing this.
Yeah, she didn't even like coffee that much.
I use it to survive now. I don't really like it. I just have
So
to
y'all
have
might
it.
turn me into a coffee drinker later?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can do that. Okay. So, like I said before, you guys are amazing. So true to life when you're on or off the air. So happy, lively, and real. You're real. I love you. How do you handle those mornings, just like the rest of the world, when you have to drag yourself in? Like when you wake up in the morning going, I don't really kind of want to go to work today. How do you make yourself get up and go to work? Because what you do is important.
I think Candi would agree with this. There are days that we are honest and just say, y'all, we struggling. We're struggling today, and this, we just gotta make this day go by together, type days. But there are a lot of days that I don't want to say we just put on a happy face, but we do. And this is why there are a lot more people that have a lot bigger issues than what Candi and I have, that are in their cars going to work, that are standing at their kitchen stove making breakfast with tears streaming down their face, those that are still lying in bed because they don't know how they're going to put their feet on the floor. And so there's so many people hurting. A fundraiser will show you that, won't it? The calls that come in during fundraiser that we get to talk to, the listening family. So there's just so much hurt, and honestly so much more hurt than I've got in my life and Candi's got in her life. So we just strap up our boots and we turn this mic on. And honestly, Candi, I think you would agree with me. Sometimes God just takes over when you're just so tired, or you've just had a bad morning yourself. We've had those things, just like everybody else. We've spilt the coffee in our lap coming into work and
had a fight with our spouse before we come in.
Yes, or just woke up grumpy. Sometimes you just wake up grumpy. But something just happens when that mic goes on and you have that opportunity to share that encouragement to someone who needs it so desperately.
Yeah.
Wow. And I can see that with you guys. I'm telling you, you're just so real, and you're just basically, you're thinking of others. Like you said, there's always somebody worse off than you are. And y'all really hold that true to heart when you come on here.
And people dependent on us. We just had a recent fundraiser, and getting to hear those stories, it reminds you, okay, this is why we get up when we don't feel good. This is why we didn't get any sleep last night, but we get up because we are hope to so many people that turn us on and say, you know what, life is rough, but I get to turn you on and you talk about Jesus, and it just lifts my spirits. That's really, honestly, as cheesy as it may sound, that's why we do it.
Or they'll say, you make me laugh when I didn't think I had a laugh in me.
Yeah.
And I heard this a lot, the word lifeline. You're my lifeline each and every day. So that makes it a whole lot easier when you look at it from that perspective.
Absolutely.
Well, I will tell you from a personal level, there have been some days I've been in my car and not wanting to smile and not wanting to do anything but just be grumpy. And I will turn you guys on and just find myself laughing. And then after a while, I'm like, what was I even laughing at? I don't even know what I was laughing at, but it was just so funny because y'all were just laughing, and it would just make me laugh. And then we
love that.
We feel that as listeners when y'all have that idea and that mindset of thinking of others.
That makes us feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
You are. Now, another easy one. This is easy. Okay. What is your life verse? What is your go-to verse when whatever happens, or just some verse that keeps you encouraged? What is your go-to verse that you think of in situations?
Jesus wept. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I know you work with Candi. I mean,
ain't that the truth? It's probably something about patience.
It is a virtue, Candi.
10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. That's in the Bible.
She knows me well. I would just off the top of there's so many verses, and as I get older, I find that my verses change sometimes depending on what season I'm in. But I think one steadfast verse for me has been Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, but to give you a hope and a future. And that verse just, if you break it down, just says so much. For I know the plans I have for you. He already knows the plans. And when I look back, I'm older than both of you, probably put together. But when I look back on my life, and you don't realize it when you're in it, but when I look back into my life up until now, I see his plans and how one thing in my life just led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, preparing me that whole time for where I am now. But when you're in it, you don't see it.
No.
So that verse, just knowing the plans that he has and plans to prosper me. And that doesn't mean I'm going to have a lot of money. Obviously, I work in ministry. But it means that my life will prosper from what I am doing and to give me hope each and every day and to give me a future. I love that verse.
That's a good verse. That's a really good verse.
I agree with Melody. It changes, I think, a lot, but one that I've stuck with for a very, very long time is Psalm 56:3. When I'm afraid, I will trust in thee. And that has just been, I think, with fear, I struggle with anxiety and some different things. So sometimes I'll get in my little closet and I'll say, all right, Lord, Psalm 56:3, and I have to force myself sometimes to just say, okay, I am going to trust in you.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Keep walking.
So I try to hold on to that.
Those are really good verses. Those are really good, steadfast verses that can span a lifetime, like you were saying. Okay, so I think that was a lot of information and a lot of things that our listeners would love to hear and know about. And so I think we're just going to kind of stop right here, and then we're going to pick up in the next podcast with the rest of the questions. And I will tell you, the rest of the questions have a little bit of a funnier spin on it.
I know, because good gracious. Whew.
Well,
I think I like interviewing better than I like being interviewed. I'm just going to say that. So stay tuned for next week's episode of Quirks, Bumps, and Bruises along with Melody and Candi and Wendy, who's putting us on the hot seat.
Thanks for listening to the Quirks, Bumps, and Bruises podcast with Candi and Melody. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast. You can learn more at joyfm.org.
Try Peas and Carrots podcast for more encouragement. Brian and Kayla share life from their piece of the vegetable patch. Expect a laugh, find common ground, and hear stories you can't wait to share. It's a podcast about doing life together, growing in Christ together, and learning to laugh no matter what comes your way. Search Peas and Carrots podcast wherever you listen to podcasts today. Get quick encouragement on the go with your encouraging 5-minute podcast. It's a weekly dose of encouragement to start your week off right. Search your encouraging 5-minute podcast today.
Navigating life as a mom or a dad in a blended family can be a real challenge. But working together with God's help, there are strategies that work and ideas to cope. Blended is a podcast hosted by dad and pastor Derek Withrow, designed as real help for the 40% of families with kids from a previous marriage. Make it your next download on Apple, Google, or wherever you listen.